What's up, ladies and gentlemen? NoZoupForYou here, and today we are going to review the Tier 9 German destroyer ZF-6, which you can find right now in the Dockyard. Now, it's going to cost a little bit of doubloons to get this started in the Dockyard. I think it's around 3,000 or so off the top of my head, but in all honesty, that is a small price to pay for this ship, because in my opinion, this is probably one of the better, if not one of the best Dockyard ships that we have received. It is a very good destroyer. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to give you my build out on my commander skills. Then I'm going to go into what this ship has and what its attributes and stats are. And the reason I'm going to go over my commander skills first is those affect everything, and I think it's worth paying a little note to what I have just because. And this isn't what I'm using 100% of the time. I've been fiddling around with things, like I've been testing things, but this is what I have right now on the ship. So I've got Grease the Gears, and I've got Consumables Specialists in the 1-point skill slot. The 2-point skill slot, of course, the Last Stand. I think that's a given at this point. Now, here are the things that matter. Moving on to the 3-point skills, I've got Main Battery and AA Specialist to decrease that main battery reload time by 5% and to increase your continuous AA damage by 10%. You're going to want the AA as well, and I'll get into why here in a little bit. IFHE, I took that. You're going to want to take that as well. I run Survivability Expert since this ship doesn't have a heal. I think it's nice to have a larger hit pool, and of course with that you get 350 extra hit pool points per tier. So for this, it works out to be a fair amount, just under 3,000 or so. On the 4 points, I take the Main Battery and AA Expert, which increases your firing range by 20%. You'll want that. And you do want the little buff to your AA shell explosions. Last thing I take is Concealment Expert. Without that, you're looking at about the 6.5 kilometer range, which, while it's not horrible, you're not going to want that. Now that I've talked about the skills, let's go to the equipment and talk about what this ship possesses, because it has a very, very unique array of consumables. Real quick though, the upgrades, I took Gunfire Control System to increase the range by 16%. Now, I could have taken the Main Battery Modification 3 and decreased the battery reload time by 12%. But I'm not too worried about that, because already with what its reload is, it's not that bad. And when you hit that reload boost button, it really just doesn't matter even more. So I find for this ship, at least for me right now, I like the extra range, because the ship does work very well at pegging ships from range and starting fires and all that other good stuff. Concealment, you're going to want to take that. Steering gears mod 1, I just kind of took that. Torpedo tubes mod 1 to increase the torpedo speed. Here at this slot, there's a number of things you can take, and I just kind of bounce around between one or the other. It's really what suits your purpose. Right now I'm running the extra torpedo speed, but I'm likely going to change that to something else. Maybe the AA guns mod 1, I don't know for sure. In the 2 slot, I've got defensive AA fire mod 1 on there, and again, I'm going to get to that here in just a moment, if you give me 1 second. And this brings me to the consumables, which in my opinion is one of the most awesome thing about this ship. You have a lot of consumables. The only thing you're missing that you would expect to have for a German destroyer is hydro, but not having hydro does not affect this destroyer in the way the Z-44 is affected. 2 different types of ships also. Z-44 is more of a torp boat. This is a straight up gunboat. So you get defensive fire, you can shoot down airplanes, which is awesome, and it's actually pretty good AA. Your base AA on this is 52, but when you add stuff and when you have that defensive fire, most aircraft carrier are probably going to want to steer away from you. You also have that reload booster. The reload booster is so nice. It decreases your main battery reload time by 50%, so that knocks you down to about the 2-second range, and it lasts for 15 seconds. Reload on it is only 85 seconds, so it's up and ready to be used again fairly quickly. With main battery reload booster, and once again, I was going for range and not speed on my guns. I could have done that, and I have done it before. Again, I'm just kind of testing different things. With that, you know, having 2-second reload on these guns, these very good guns, if you get the jump on most destroyers, you're going to slaughter them. Absolutely slaughter them. It doesn't matter what kind of destroyer it is. You get the jump on them and you pop off main battery reload booster, you're going to inflict some serious, serious damage. Also on this ship, you get your speed boost. And in addition to that, you get your smoke generator. So you got 4 consumables right there, allowing this ship to pretty much be a defensive platform and an offensive platform, which in my opinion is just absolutely awesome, and I love it. So now that I've covered all that, let's talk about the statistics of this ship. Survivability, 20,150 hit points, and that, of course, is with Survivability Expert. You get that nice little boost of a couple thousand extra hit points. That can be the difference between surviving and sinking. Artillery, your main guns are 128 millimeters. That's pretty nice for a destroyer. Can't say I got anything wrong with that. This ship does have an interesting loadout in that you've got 3 single guns and then 1 turret with 2 guns on it. So you've got a total of 5 guns. And again, they're loaded with 128 millimeter rounds and they do pretty good damage. Now the way I have my ship loaded out, my maximum firing range is 16.5 kilometers, so I can reach out and touch people. And it's fairly accurate too. So we're not talking USN moonshots here. They're a little better than that. I mean, granted, you still got to play around with it and lead it, but you know what? Still good. Still happy with it. Reload time on my ship right now, 3.8 seconds. So I did get it sub 4 by taking, and that means when you pop off your reload booster, you're looking at, you know, approximately, I'm no mathematician, but we'll just round it out and say under 2 seconds per round. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Your shell velocity is 880 meters per second, so once again, like I told you, you're not necessarily railguns, but you're not moonshots. Very nice indeed. Torpedoes, do want to touch on these. Only 8 kilometer range. You do have 8 torps in a 2x4 setup. Maximum speed of these is going to be 79 knots on my setup, and that is using the Torpedo Tubes Mod 1. Once again, not sold on using that. Might change it. Doesn't matter. These torps are only going to do 18,400 damage. Not horrible, though. Not horrible. AE defense, I already touched on. Starts off at 52. Maneuverability of this ship, your maximum speed is 36.8 knots with Sierra mics. The turning circle radius is 670 meters with a rudder shift time of 3.1 seconds. And that's using steering gears mod 1. So overall, this ship has some very good attributes. It's got some good guns that can do a lot of damage. Throw in reload booster and IFHE, and this ship can absolutely pulverize destroyers that you get the jump on. And that brings me to the overall feels of this ship. If you're a destroyer main, you're going to like this ship. Even more so since the German destroyer tier split is so underwhelming right now. I'd go out on a limb and say this ship almost makes up for it, because the ZF-6 is a really good destroyer. It's a really good German destroyer, but is it really a German destroyer, though? I mean, honestly, this thing is more of a French hybrid. It plays more like a French ship, and it's good like a French ship. And at Tier 9, this is a very good entry for German destroyers, and I think the majority of you out there, the majority of destroyer mains, the majority of German lovers in general, are really going to like this destroyer because it offers a lot. It gives you a lot of different ways to play. You can play the long game if you want with that 16.5 kilometer range, or you can play the short game, get your reload down even lower, and wipe out destroyers even quicker. Again, you're not necessarily a torp boat. Those torpedoes are more for defense than offense, but that's fine. Doesn't matter. You've got a lot of other stuff that helps you out. You've got defensive fire. You can shoot down airplanes better than most destroyers, even at your own tier, which is awesome. You got that speed boost, and of course that smoke again that you can just sit in with your 16.5 kilometer range. And you can make most battleships think twice about pushing, because even with its base reload of 3.8 seconds or so, that's a pretty good reload right there. That's pretty quick. And again, these guns at 128 millimeters, they do some decent damage. They're going to do some decent damage. So, overall, what do I think of this ship? I think I kind of laid it out for you right there. I like it a lot. I think it's a great entry. I think it's a great port ship. I think it is worthy of your time if this is your aspiration right here. It's a lot better than a lot of other destroyers out there. It's fun. It offers a lot. It gives you a lot of ways to play. In all, ZF-6 is probably one of the better destroyers we've had come out in a while, and definitely one of the best dockyard ships. So good luck in getting it. I think it's worth going for. Want to know your opinions, though. Take it easy. Catch you all later. Zoop out.